Hey everyone. So this is going to be part 4 of my March wrap-up. I was only supposed to have this be 3 parts, but then I ended up, when I was supposed to talk about 2 books in one video, I ended up just talking about 1. Sorry, let me scoot back a little. Hope you guys can see me okay, but I wanted, like, all of me in the shot. But anyway, so, yes, so because of that I have 1 more book to talk about. But, I really loved everything that I read in March, so that's why I've spent so much time talking about all of them. I really loved this last book too, Friday's Child by Georgette Heyer. I got this as an ebook from Hoopla, and I got this one because it was the one that I had heard the most about, aside from the 3 that I had already listened to. And I really wanted to try one of her ebooks instead of another audiobook because sadly all the audiobooks that were narrated by Richard Armitage were the ones that I had already listened to. So he's sort of like, he's kind of made yet ruined the Georgette Heyer audiobooks for me because it makes me now so sad that he only did those 3 and there's no sign of any more in the works because the last one was done 6 years ago, I think. So yeah, but anyway, so because of that I've moved on to the ebooks, and this is both good and bad. My one issue with this ebook was that the audiobooks were abridged, which initially I thought was going to be a problem. Turns out they are edited down just enough that they are about perfect. And I mean, I still have to read the full version of these books to reaffirm that statement. But the thing that I noticed in Friday's Child is the audiobooks were about 5 hours a piece, which I equated to maybe about 250 to 275 pages. And this ebook was 400 pages of Friday's Child. And so I just noticed that there were certain things that I thought were repetitive, or, you know, she is awesome with her sense of humor about always putting shenanigans into her books, and in this particular book, I just thought that there were several instances where it was basically the same type of shenanigan, just kind of reworked a little bit, and I didn't really think that was necessary. So that was my only issue with this book, is that I thought it was maybe 100 pages too long. However, everything else about it I completely loved. So I gave it probably a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The other 3, Sylvester I gave 4.5 as well, but that's because I didn't like the plot as much. And then with the other 2, Venetia and Convenient Marriage, I gave both of those 5 out of 5 stars because I love them so much. And you know, 4.5 is still amazing. I still thoroughly enjoyed this. And the things that I loved about this book were the things that I really loved about the others, which were characters, plot, writing. Her sense of humor is just completely fantastic and right up my street. So I guess I will summarize this for you. And I realized when I was talking about Shades of Milk and Honey in my last video, I didn't really summarize it very much. And I also didn't really summarize the others, but I mean the ones in part 2, but that's just because I had so many to talk about I couldn't really summarize them. So what I'll try to do is, for part 2, I will edit that description and put in the Goodreads links for all those books, and then for part 3, I will put in the Goodreads link for Shades of Milk and Honey. So anyway, let's get into the summary of this one. Basically, I'm trying to figure out how to summarize it. Okay, so it's about this guy, Lord Sheridan. No, Sheringham, not Sheridan. Oh gosh. Anyway, his nickname is Sherry, and he is he's a lord. He is, I think, the heir to an earldom. I want to say an earldom. Anyway, he's probably about 23 23, I would think, 23 or 24, when this starts, because it opens with this scene where he's proposing to this girl, Isabel, and she's like, hey, you know, you're great and everything, but you got some major maturing to do, because he says that he loves her very much, and I still don't know if I believe it or not, but basically we realize pretty quickly the reason why he is proposing to her, and the reason that she knows why he's proposing to her, is that he has a trust of money and his estate, where either on his 25th birthday he can access this trust and become the heir to the estate, or if he gets married before that. So that's why I think he's like maybe 23, because it's a long enough time that he prefers to try to marry a woman straight away instead of waiting until he's 25. So that's why he's proposing to this woman, and she's like, hey, I know that that's why you're proposing to me, and you might love me, but you have some major maturing to do. You gamble too much. You are a bit of a playboy. You love the single life too much to be tied down to a wife, basically. And, you know, she says, I'm sorry, but I just don't love you. So this really makes him very angry, and not like, well, sort of at her, but not like, he doesn't outwardly lash out. He's just like, all right, fine. This is making me furious, so I'm just going to marry the first woman that I come across. Turns out the first woman he comes across is his childhood friend, Hiro. Her last name, I think, is Wantage, something like that. Anyway, so she is in a miserable family situation because she was adopted by some cousins, and her aunt and her cousins really don't like her. They treat her basically like Cinderella, by her wicked stepmother and all that. And so when she bumps into Sherry, and she explains to Sherry what's going on with her and her family, and he explains to her what's going on with his predicament. And then he has the bright idea, hey, wait a minute, why don't you and I get married? Because that'll get you out of this family situation. You know exactly what I need from this marriage. Like, you know that we can just be good friends sort of within the marriage, I guess. And so she's like, at first she's kind of hesitant, and then she's like, you know what, why not? Like, I really need out of this family situation that I'm in, so sure. And so, of course, it's one of those, starts out as a marriage of convenience, but then goes to end up becoming a love match, goes on to become a love match. And I completely love it. Because, again, I think I explained this with Convenient Marriage. It's sort of obvious that that's where it's going, but it's how they get there that's the entertaining part. You know, there are so many funny, cute misunderstandings, and some that actually make you feel genuine secondhand embarrassment for either Hiro or Sherry, depending on what it is and why and all that. And I completely loved it. I didn't quite love it as much as Convenient Marriage or Venetia, but I loved it enough that I would really love to get the book sometime. And yeah, it was completely awesome. I really loved Sherry. I really loved Hiro. I loved Sherry's friends. I thought they were all really wonderful. So yeah, it was pretty great. So yeah, I know I didn't end up talking about this one as much as Shades of Milk and Honey, even though I probably liked and enjoyed this one more, but it's just because for the other one I had to go on a bit about what I didn't like about it, even though I really did like it, so I highly recommend it. But this one, again, like, I didn't like it as much as the others, but I do still highly recommend it. The ones that I recommend first and foremost are the Richard Armitage audiobooks, because they are just completely phenomenal, but this book as well I just very much enjoyed. And again, only issue was, I thought it was about 100 pages too long, but aside from that, really loved it. And I don't really know where to go next. I think I'm gonna go with These Old Shades and Devil's Cub, because I think they are a duology of sorts, and These Old Shades sounded really good. So I think that's the one I'll probably go with next. And then there are a couple others of hers that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll see when I read those. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you guys have read this one or any other Georgette Heyer and what you thought, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.